Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today I have a truly amazing story for you. A story that shows how one simple question can change lives forever. Imagine this. A boss asks his maid one plain, everyday question, and her answer is so surprising that soon his own son decides to marry her. Yes, you heard that right. One question changed everything in one family. I promise you by the end of this video, you will see the magic in honest words and simple truths. So get cozy and join me as we step into a story of kindness, love, and a few funny surprises along the way. Let's start by setting the scene. Our story happens in a big, old house in a quiet town. The house is filled with light and laughter. There lived a man called Mr. Henry, who was a kind but strict boss. He managed many tasks in the house and always made sure work was done perfectly. Now Mr. Henry had a loyal maid named Maria. Maria was gentle, hard-working, and had a heart full of wisdom, even though she was often quiet. She did her work with care and kindness, and everyone in the house felt her warmth. Besides Mr. Henry and Maria, there was also his son Tommy. Tommy was curious, kind, and always ready to learn from everyone around him. Although he was the boss's son, he loved to spend time with the people who helped his family, especially Maria, because of her sweet nature. In this house, every day was busy, but one day was extra special. The light in the morning, the soft hum of the appliances, and the friendly chatter all came together to set the stage for something big. Sometimes when things seem very normal, a small question can become a big spark that changes everything. And that is exactly what happened in Mr. Henry's house. One bright morning, after breakfast was done and the chores were being completed, Mr. Henry walked into the kitchen. He had been thinking about how every person in his house seemed to work hard and do the right thing, and he wondered, what is the most important thing in life? Without expecting much, he turned to Maria and asked her, Maria, can you tell me, what is the most important thing in life? Now you might think this is just a normal question, but little did he know it would bring out something wonderful from her heart. Maria paused for a moment. The sound of a ticking clock filled the quiet room. And then, in a clear, gentle voice, she answered, Sir, the most important thing in life is kindness and love. When you care for someone like family, when you share your smile and help without expecting anything in return, that is what makes life really special. Her answer was so pure and honest that it made Mr. Henry's eyes widen with surprise. Even the old kitchen clock seemed to pause as if listening closely. In that simple reply, there was a lesson that was as deep as a wise teacher's story and as gentle as a warm hug. As you listen to her words, I hope you can feel the soft strength behind them. Sometimes small words can carry great meaning, like a drop of water that can create ripples in a big pond. Mr. Henry was amazed. He had expected a simple reply like, work hard or follow the rules. Instead, Maria's answer shone with honesty and care. It touched him deeply. Maria, that is a wonderful answer, he said. Maybe I have been too caught up in business and rules and have forgotten the simple truth of what really matters. That day, Mr. Henry couldn't stop thinking about Maria's words. He began to see that sometimes the quiet voices in our lives have the biggest things to say. He even shared the answer with his son, Tommy, while they were sitting in the garden under a big old tree. Tommy listened carefully as his father repeated Maria's words. The sound of the wind and the gentle clucking of a chicken in the barn made the moment even more special. Tommy's eyes grew wide and he began to think about how important kindness and love are. It was as if a door opened in his mind, and he realized that those hidden in humble positions, like Maria, had wisdom that even the richest books could not teach. After that day, something unexpected began to happen. Tommy started to visit Maria more often. He would ask her about her day, listen to her small stories while she worked, and every time he learned a bit more about life. With each conversation, his respect and admiration for her grew. His heart, which was full of curiosity and kindness, filled with the idea that love and truth come from the most unlikely places. In many ways, this change in Tommy was like discovering a secret treasure. Imagine finding a bright, glowing gem hidden among dull stones. That is how he felt each time Maria spoke. In simple words, the wise and caring voice of a person who was often overlooked had changed the mindset of a young man born into privilege. Now let's talk a little bit about why this story matters. You might be wondering, how can one small question really change something as big as a family? Well, let's look closely. In science and history, we learn that small actions can start a chain reaction. Think of a row of dominoes. When one domino falls, it tips the next one. Maria's answer was like the first domino falling in a row. It set off a reaction in Mr. Henry, and especially in young Tommy. In fact, there is a lesson in psychology that says simple, honest words have the power to move hearts and shake up the routine. In today's busy world, many people forget that even a small, kind act or a word of truth can have a huge impact. Sometimes we think that only big actions matter, but this story shows that no matter who you are, what you say matters. It reminds us that every person has a big heart, and sometimes the quietest voice can be the loudest in spirit. I also believe that this story tells us a lesson about respect and listening to people. Often we might ignore someone just because they have a simple job or don't speak up often. But when you stop to listen, you can find wisdom and kindness that change your life. It is like finding a rare flower growing in a garden that you have never noticed before. Even as a kid, if you have ever heard an unexpected answer from someone you thought was quiet or shy, you might have felt a little spark of wonder in your own heart. That feeling of surprise and hope is exactly what Maria's words triggered, and it shows us that every person, no matter how small they seem, can light up the world with their ideas and love. Let's also add a bit of humor here. Imagine if a classmate quietly answered a tricky question in a way that left everyone laughing and scratching their heads. It would be surprising, right? Now imagine that answer was so funny and true that even the teacher stopped to listen. That's exactly what happened in Mr. Henry's home. Only this time, it wasn't in a classroom. It was in a big old house where life was about to change. This idea is not only important for families, but for everyone in the world. Whether you are young or old, what you say can impact others. So always be kind and true in your words, as they might be the start of something beautiful. As days turned into weeks, the change in the household became even more noticeable. Tommy's visits to Maria became regular, and soon he realized that he felt something very special for her. It was a mix of respect, admiration, and a gentle kind of love. One sunny afternoon, while working in the garden, Tommy said to Maria, "Your words make me feel like I know what real love is. I have never heard anyone say things the way you do, and I think that makes you the most wonderful person I have ever known." Maria blushed, her eyes twinkling like the morning dew on the garden leaves, and she quietly replied, "Thank you, Tommy. I always try to see the good in every day, and I hope you will too." Mr. Henry, who had been watching from a distance, felt a warmth spread in his heart. He realized that what started as one simple question had brought so much light into his home. And although he was surprised at first, he eventually understood that sometimes the heart picks things that the eyes do not see. Soon, in a gentle ceremony filled with laughter, dancing, and light music, Tommy and Maria got married. Their wedding was as humble as it was joyful. Neighbors smiled and clapped, and even the old house seemed to hum with happiness. During the wedding, Mr. Henry said, with a twinkle in his eye, "I asked a simple question one day and learned that true love and deep wisdom can come from the most unexpected place. Today we all learn from that truth." This moment reminds us that love is not found by looking for big gestures, but in the small moments of honesty and care. If you ever feel unseen or unheard, remember that your words and kindness are powerful. They may spark something far greater than you can imagine, just like how one small question changed the lives in this house. Let's pause for a moment and look at some technical ideas behind this story. In many ways, what happened in the house is similar to how we learn from everyday life. There is a system called feedback loops. This might sound like a big word, but it means that what you do can affect others, and then that effect comes back to you. In our story, the boss's question was the first drop of a water ripple. Maria's answer created ripples that reached far and changed the thoughts and feelings of her boss's son. Psychologists tell us that every time we share a sincere thought, we have the power to influence someone else's world. Maria's clear and kind answer was like a spark that lit up a flame in Tommy's heart. This is even shown in studies about positive communication. When we express our true feelings, we encourage others to do the same. I truly believe that every word you speak can be like a beacon. Think of it like a light in the dark. You might not see it immediately, but even the smallest light can guide someone home. And that is why, whether you are young or old, remember that your voice is important. Always speak with kindness, and others will be inspired to do the same. In the end, the simple question not only changed one day, but it transformed an entire household. Maria's answer had a power that even Mr. Henry could not ignore, the power of truth and love. Tommy found a lover, a friend, and someone who helped him see the world in a new, softer light. Mr. Henry and everyone in the house learned that sometimes the wise answer from the most humble person could change a family for the better. Every time I think about this story, I smile. It reminds me that in every corner of life, whether in a big house or a small classroom, there is someone whose simple truth can change everything. And isn't that a wonderful thought? So here we are at the end of our story. Remember the lesson. Never underestimate the power of a simple word or a kind gesture. Just as one small question stirred a beautiful change in a family, your words can light up the world. If you enjoyed this story and found it inspiring, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us share more true stories like this one. Also, check out the video on the end screen where I talk about everyday heroes and their little acts of bravery, because trust me, there are many little heroes waiting to be discovered in our everyday lives. Thank you so much for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. What simple word or action changed your life? I would love to hear your story. Until next time, keep being kind, keep speaking your truth, and never forget that even a small question can make a big difference.